What's up everyone, Louis from SANDMARC here, and before we start this video, we wanted to briefly address what's going on all over the world with COVID-19. Please stay safe and informed through trusted sources, wash your hands often, and practice social distancing as much as you can. We value each and every one of you, and we'll do our best to keep making these videos as we go through these times. Be safe. In our last video, we compared the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Samsung S20 Ultra's telephoto camera and found the S20 Ultra's 108 megapixel optical zoom camera system to be really impressive. But now we wanted to see how good the wide and ultra wide camera goes up against the iPhone 11 Pro Max's wide and ultra wide. Both the ultra wide and wide cameras of the Samsung S20 Ultra and the 11 Pro Max are pretty similar. For the wide cameras, both phones have the same aperture. It's at f1.8. For ultra wide, that's where the difference is very minimal, but the Samsung S20 Ultra is a 2.2 aperture and the 11 Pro Max is a 2.4. Both cameras should deliver similar images. The only differences are the megapixel count and the software it uses to process each image. So let's get started. First, let's look at the wide-angle lens of both cameras. Both images look pretty similar with the exception of the Galaxy S20 Ultra's picture looking a little bit cooler compared to the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Both images are equally sharp and preserve the details very well from corner to corner, with a slight edge to the Galaxy S20 Ultra. One of the biggest differences we're noticing in between the two pictures is the way that the cameras handle shadows. The Galaxy S20 Ultra seems to lose some of the details as seen on the tree on the left, compared to the iPhone 11 Pro Max's tree on the left, where the details still are there, but the differences are really slight. We also used the 108 megapixel camera of the S20 Ultra to compare a wide angle shot to these two photos. And this is what we got. The 108 megapixel camera does preserve a lot more details compared to the other two photos. The details it preserves from corner to corner is extremely impressive. The Galaxy S20 Ultra's regular camera is still able to get a little bit details of the tree on the left. However, on the 108 megapixel camera, most of the shadows are completely black. The 108 megapixel camera on the S20 Ultra seems to handle highlights a little bit better compared to the Galaxy S20 Ultra's regular camera and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. The greens in the 108 megapixel camera is also a little bit more vibrant compared to the other two photos. Next, let's move on to the ultra wide lenses of the two phones. Both phones seem to have an equal length when it comes to focal length, and both phones are able to produce sharp photos with a slight advantage to the Galaxy S20 Ultra. The iPhone 11 Pro Max does have a little bit more of distortion going on the sides, but compared to the Galaxy S20 Ultra, it's very slight. Similar to the wide angle test, the Galaxy S20 Ultra seems to handle shadows with a little bit more darkness compared to the iPhone 11 Pro Max. The iPhone 11 Pro Max is able to produce a more flatter image that's more neutral throughout the highlights to the shadows and the whites and the blacks. For our final test, we wanted to have some fun and test out our SANDMARC ultra wide lens on the iPhone 11 Pro Max to see how it would pair up against the iPhone 11 Pro Max's and Galaxy S20 Ultra's native cameras. The focal lengths of both phones are pretty even on the native camera. Again, the Galaxy S20 Ultra deals with shadows with a bit more darkness, while the iPhone 11 Pro Max produces a more flatter image. However, on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, the highlights are really close to getting blown out. Once we put our wide-angle lens on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, the highlights seem to balance out. It also adds a little bit of contrast to the shadows, where you can see that on the greens and on the skies. I would place the iPhone 11 Pro Max with the SANDMARC wide lens in between the two native cameras of these phones, as it seems to be a good balance in between both of the images. Both the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Samsung S20 Ultra are great phones that produces amazing images to the everyday consumer. For this wide and ultra wide test, both phones are extremely close and it's really hard to pick one or the other. The main differences that we found are just the different ways that both internal softwares processes each images in each of these phones. Both phones are great options for those wanting to take their mobile photography game to the next level. Which phone would you choose? Comment below.